National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. What have been the developments under this research institute is what we would discuss today. So this center is based in Goa. If we talk about where exactly this center is, it is located near the headland Sada, and this headland Sada is nearly 4 kilometers from the Vasco city of Goa, and there are the headquarters for NCPOR, which is the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. Now, before the present director, who is Mr. Beg, the director was Mr. Ravi Chandran, and Ravi Chandran is now the secretary, Ministry of Earth Science. What are the major areas under which research goes in this center? So it's, as the name suggests, polar studies. So both the research stations at Antarctica as well as the Arctic. India has two major research stations in Antarctic basin. One is the Maitri, which was established in 1989. The other is Bharti, established in 2011. The India's Arctic base is Himadri, another important research center. So those are the polar study areas. Then coming on to the ocean research, it's mainly the EEZ, which is Exclusive Economic Zone, close to our coastal waters, which are studied. The non-living resources, which are mainly gas hydrate and multi-metal sulfides, present in the mid-ocean ridge. So when we understand the surface topography of the ocean bottom, we see that there are the mid-ocean ridge, where you have the series or the chain of the mountain which is seen towards the center of the ocean, and there we have multi-metal sulfides which are seen. The research projects of Arctic and Antarctic, which we already mentioned. Then the annual expeditions which go to the Southern Ocean, Antarctic as well as the Arctic region, and the management of the research vessel, which is Sagar Kanya. So those are some of the major developments under this NCPOR. So there are geoscientific surveys, continental shelf is studied, deep sea drilling. Then, as we said, gas hydrate and multi-metal sulfides are the basis for the study. Coming on to the library networking and the IT facilities which are available here. So National Knowledge Network internet connectivity of 1 Gbps is available. The servers are NPDC, DNS. Then you have ISAES 2015. The most important thing is the TPX, which is High Definition Telepresence Room, which is established here and helps in face-to-face communication with Ministry of Earth Science and the various connecting offices. Another important development is the National Polar Data Center, which is NPDC, National Polar Data Center. Now this is the platform which manages the India's polar science, and it is a characteristic center called as India's data sharing network of Earth system sciences. It studies fields related to oceanography, glaciology, resources and environmental science, atmospheric science, and various expeditions which are part of the Indian science expedition to Antarctica, focusing mainly on the snow ice chemistry of the Arctic and the subarctic region, of the Antarctic region, the southern oceans, and this NCPOR is also known to have a comprehensive library on Arctic and Antarctic. It has more than 2025 books, 7 scientific journals which are part of it, and 52 CDs which relate specifically to Arctic and Antarctic. So those are some of the resources which are available. If we talk more about the National Polar Data Center, it has 5 divisions. The first is atmospheric science, which is further subdivided into 3 segments: climate studies, atmosphere cryosphere interaction, and space weather. Biological science, which talks about the ecology of Antarctic cryography, the strategies in the aquatic and the terrestrial habitat, the sea ice ecosystem, food web dynamics in the Arctic and the Antarctic, the bioactive molecules, genomics, and the flora and the fauna which is present there. So 2 categories that we have studied so far, which is atmospheric science, biological science. Coming on to the next, which is the polar science and cryosphere. This is under 3 heads: Antarctic, Arctic, and Himalaya. So under Himalaya, it is understanding the glaciers of Chandra Basin, Lahul Spiti and Himachal Himalayas. Under Arctic, understanding the mass balance and dynamics of glaciers, mainly in the Svalbard. Now, Svalbard is the region which is closer to the Greenland area, and this is an archipelago. It has a population of less than 3,000 and nearly 11 research stations from different nations have been established here, of which India's Himadri is part of the India's Arctic mission. So Svalbard in the greenhouse closer to the Greenland is the region where we have the India's Arctic research station. Okay, so in the Arctic we also focus on the air-snow interaction of ionic species. Then in the Antarctic, it is mainly the ice core records, understanding the supraglacial environment and the interaction of ions and particulates in Antarctica area. Then based on the earth science and glaciology, we understand the past climate from lakes, coastal deposits and soils, quaternary paleoclimatic conditions, lakes of Larsemann Hills and Shrimachar, both of which are present in the Antarctic area. Then we have the deglaciation history of Antarctic oasis, the Gondwana India Antarctic study, how it originated and what has been the origin, understanding the meteoroid surge, Antarctic geology and cryospheric studies. Now, another important component here is the MET data. What is MET data? There are various sources from which meteorological data is collected. For example, surface station data, automatic weather stations, and these are collected from Indian Antarctic stations. Now, MET data and other details are available at the National Polar Data Center. The contributors are four. First is the IMD, which is the Indian Meteorological Department, Indian Institute of Geomagnetism, Snow and Avalanche Study Establishment, and CSIR NPL, which is National Physical Laboratory. Note, we would be covering National Physical Laboratory, National Chemical Laboratory separately in other lectures. Now, here we understand temperature conditions. So, temperature are understood in degrees Celsius, wind speed in knots, and air pressure in hectopascals. So those are some of the important parameters which are understood under the MET data study. Now if we focus on the organization chart of NCPOR, it has 6 major divisions. First is expedition, the second is polar science, the third is ocean sciences, fourth is geosciences, fifth is deep sea exploration, and the sixth is management and support services. Now, under the expeditions, we have programs in Arctic, the logistics, Antarctic program, polar biology, environmental monitoring, vessel operations, infrastructure and IT services. Polar science mainly talk about micropaleontology, paleooceanography, polar remote sensing, cryosphere studies and ice core studies. Ocean studies focus on physical, biological and atmospheric interactions. Geoscientific study talks about IODP, which is the oil drill program, deep crustal studies, continental shelf, understanding the Indian Ocean geoid law. Then we have deep sea exploration, which is hydrothermal studies, EEZ mapping, which is the exclusive economic zone, and the cobalt crust, very very important. So cobalt crust is extremely important here. So those are some of the major areas through which we understand NCPOR and its functions. Now, NCPOR works broadly under 5 categories. First is Antarctic, second is Arctic, third is Himalayas, fourth is Southern Ocean, and the fifth is IODP. We would be covering all these 5 one by one. To begin with, Southern Ocean. Southern Ocean is a huge water body which does not have landmass and therefore high surface winds blow across this region. This region has low chlorophyll, high nutrient, and that is due to lack of availability of iron to support the primary production. So in this region, we understand the distribution of water mass, ocean current, ice sea, relation between ocean atmospheric surfaces, temperature, pressure, humidity conditions, aerosols, biological productivity, sinks of carbon and sediments and geochemical studies. So those are some of the things that we study under Southern Ocean. Now under Southern Ocean, as I said, Optical oceanography is again important. We have microbial oceanography, chemical, biogeochemistry. So all those disciplines are studied in the case of Southern Ocean. So Southern Ocean, some of the recent contributions, some of the recent results of the researchers here are: variability of the fronts, freshwater input and chlorophyll in the Indian Ocean sector of the Southern Ocean were studied. The biological response to the physical processes in the Indian Ocean sector of the Southern Ocean were studied. So definitely, since we are organization from India, most of the studies are done in the Indian Ocean sector. Okay. The next is the photo inhibition of primary productivity in the surface layer of Indian Ocean sector was studied. Influence of air, sea and ice interaction on phytoplanktons was studied. And southward transport of water mass by eddy currents in Indian Ocean of Southern Ocean were studied. So those were some of the recent studies which were conducted as part of the Southern Ocean mission. The next is the IODP. Now under IODP we have seen that there are various projects which are ongoing, and this is actually the International Ocean Discovery Program. So International Ocean Discovery Program. Under this we have two heads. So IODP program, International Ocean Discovery Program, has first of all ocean drilling, and the second is the ocean discovery. Ocean drilling project started from 2003 to 2013, and then we have the ocean discovery project from 2013 to 2023. So both of them have been named as IODP, Indian Ocean Drilling Program, which was previously till 2013, and then it is Indian Ocean Discovery Program. It is a global marine research collaboration which talks about the ocean ongoing research projects and platforms to understand the seafloor sediments and understand the sub-sea floor environment. Okay, now we need to understand that there have been various projects which have been studied. For example, there are various developments and various projects which would be going. So those would be accomplished in 2022 and 2033. So here is the list of the projects which are given here. So you need to remember those: building blocks of life, Hellenic arc volcanic field, Arctic Ocean paleoceanography, Japan Trench paleoseismology. Then you have South Ocean Transact 1 and 2, and then Agulhas Plateau Cretaceous climate. Okay, so those are some of the 5 projects which would be going in 2022 and 2023. The next is Himalayas. In terms of Himalayas, we need to study the changing patterns of the glacier, understand the hydrology, ecology and climate, assess the climate change using ice as one of the parameters, and the biogeochemical aspects of Himalayan ice, and compare it with the polar ice. So how Himalayan ice is different from the polar ice. Now, in 2012, there was a team of 3 scientists who visited few of the glaciers of Himalaya at a height of nearly 3,800 meters above sea level, and these studied on the Chota Singari and Chandra Basin, Patasio in Bhaga Basin, and Miad and Miar Basin. So those were some of the glaciers that were studied. After that, few more scientists visited further high altitude glaciers, and those were in the region of Ladakh, where accumulation layers were studied and identification of ice core was understood. And the major study was how this Himalayan ice is different from the polar ice. Now, what we need to understand is, we need to understand a climate glacial interrelationship, and Himansh is the name for the dedicated research station which has been established at Sutri Dhaka in Chandra Basin, Lahul Spiti, Himachal Pradesh, and this Himansh is at around 4080 meters above sea level, and this station has started since 2016, functions all the year round, and sometimes is closed during a brief winter period. But this is one of the dedicated research stations to study the Himalayan ice cover and understand the parameters there. The next is Arctic. Now we are left with two important ones, the most important ones indeed. So Arctic and Antarctic. Now Arctic, understand, India's scientific endeavor are not that old. It started only in 2007, where we started with a 5-member team who visited Ny-Ålesund. Ny-Ålesund is located in Svalbard archipelago. Now, as I already mentioned, Svalbard is one of the major centers of research station. India's research is mainly attributed in this region, and India leased one of the station buildings from Kings Bay AS, which owns and manages the international research base. And finally, our station Himadri was inaugurated in 2008. Now, Ny-Ålesund in Svalbard is known for its glaciological studies, and it has a small valley type glacier which is very close to Ny-Ålesund, which is known as Western Brungbrin, and here a lot of cryospheric studies are undertaken. So India's Arctic Ocean program, Arctic program started in 2013, where India became a permanent observer in the Arctic Council. And this was when the Arctic Council meeting took place in Kiruna in Sweden. So India became a part of it. Now, what kind of research goes in? It is marine research, phytoplanktons, the pH, the seawater salinity, the carbon monoxide levels, the glacial studies, the glaciological studies, ice microbial studies. So all those studies are taken into account there. There we have IND-ARC, which is a multi-sensor mooring, and this was the India's first multi-sensor mooring, which was established in 2004. And Himadri, as we said, which is one of our stations in Arctic, is known. The word Himadri means the abode of snow, and this has been located in the Svalbard, the Ny-Ålesund Svalbard in Svalbard is an archipelago which is under Norway. So we have leased the land from international research base and have established a research station there. Okay, so this is actually nearly 1200 kilometers away from North Pole, but this is the place where we have been pursuing Arctic studies. And here we also have now a micro rain radar. So micro rain radar has been established in this region, which collects the precipitation information every 1 minute interval regularly and helps to understand the high altitude characteristic. Now, if you look onto this map, here is close to the Greenland, the region of Svalbard. Svalbard, as we said, is an archipelago which lies between Indian Ocean, Barents Sea, Norwegian Sea, Greenland Sea, and in 1920s these islands were part of the Norway. Now these islands have a total area of 62,000 square kilometers and have been split into two, Spitsberg and Aegona. Now there have been a permanent population of less than 3,000 people who are located in these regions. There are 7 national parks and 23 natural reserves which are located in Svalbard, and a lot of region is still untouched by human. Nearly 60% of this archipelago is covered with snow and ice, and therefore you have a huge lot of glacial studies which can be undertaken in this region. Now here are the list of 11 various research stations by different nations. Himadri, as we say, is one of those, and that is being maintained under the National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research by India since 2008. If we see, a lot of those are by Norway. We have few from Italy, Netherlands, China, and the name of each of the stations have been named here. For example, South Korea's station is named as Dasan. We have the Colvi as the station by Germany, Rabot as the station by France, and so on. Now there are 3 important labs: Himadri lab, Grove Batted lab, and Cryobiology lab. Himadri lab, the list of instruments we have cited here. So it's mainly the dosimat, spectrophotometer, Niskin water samplers, conductivity, temperature depth, zooplankton net, and pH meter. Groove Bet Lab is known for microrain radar, which we already discussed, celiometer, nephelometer and ethylometer. Then we have cryobiology lab, which basically has homogenizers, electrophoresis machines, laminar flow machines and so on. Now, the Svalbard archipelago is home to numerous glaciers and has a significant impact on the geological studies and the glaciological studies. So, understanding the glacier, we have been studying these through a wide variety. The surface snow has been studied, the photochemical reactors have been studied. We are also understanding the sea salt balance, the humidity, the aerosols, the frost flowers which are created, the photodegradable halogenated carbons, and then we also have the chemical composition for snow and aerosols which are studied in these areas. Now coming on to our last section, which is the Antarctic section. Now, Antarctic, which is called as the White Continent, is the 5th largest continent in the world. It is known for its extreme coldness, extreme unique wildlife conditions, and is derived from the word which is known as Antarctique, which is a Greek word, and this word means opposite to Arctic. So, opposite to the north, which is opposite to the Arctic, is Antarctic. Now, under this, we have 75% of the Earth's fresh water which is present, and these sheets of ice in Antarctica were found nearly 25 million years old. There are various treaties under Antarctica. So Antarctica is basically not owned by or controlled by one nation. You have various sectors which are demarcated, and India has one of the sector where we have our research stations, which is Maitri and Bharati, which are established. Now, some of the important conditions that are to be met. So first is the environment and the treaty obligation, which says that the scientific value of Antarctica would be controlled and legal requirements would be met. The next is Antarctica Treaty System, that talks about that all the interest of the mankind lies that Antarctica shall remain forever as a peaceful region, and there is no objection. The treaty applies only to the area south of 60 degrees south latitude. The next is Madrid Protocol. It says Antarctica is a region of natural reserve. Nothing can be modified unanimously, and there has been a prohibition on mineral resource activities which cannot be removed unless there is a legal binding agreement which is brought into force. The next is Antarctica is a specially protected area. The type of habitat, the type of species are protected. It has a lot of aesthetic value, historical value, and needs special consideration. The next is authorization and permit. Now, India's accession to the Antarctic Treaty was brought in 1983 after signing the Madrid Protocol, also known as the Environmental Protocol, and then India became part of it. The authorization and permit is required for any activity south of 60 degrees south and understanding the marine region below 60 degrees south. The next is the kind of projects. One of the very important things is non-native species are not allowed in Antarctica. For example, rats are one of the most widespread and invasive species across the globe. And all steps are taken to ensure that rats are not taken to Antarctica, and a special provision has been made to keep this area rat-free. Also, any other dogs besides assistant dogs are not allowed, and no living animal should be intentionally brought into the territory of Antarctica. Dogs are not permitted on the land which is under the Antarctic Treaty Area. The next is the cryospheric projects. Now, under this, we understand the cryosphere region. So, the Ice Core Laboratory located in Goa provides an environment to understand the various studies, understand the snow and the ice, and the paleoatmospheric and the biogeochemical studies from ice and snow of the polar areas and its links to the climate change related to the past. Now, some of the important understandings here. We understand the surface melting using the scatterometer data. We understand the ice margins and the ice deformations using the RISAT-1 data. RISAT-1. RISAT-1. So RISAT is the Indian satellite. It uses C-band imagery for understanding the cryospheric level of Antarctica. Also, we understand the vegetation using the Worldview 2 data and the supraglacial debris in the Antarctic region. We have three new methods of geoinformation extraction for cryospheric studies that are used. First is the spectral index ratio method, ensemble classification method, and customized normalized difference water index for feature extraction of the lake. So these three are studied. I repeat again, spectral index ratio method, ensemble classification method, and customized normalized difference water index for lake feature extraction. The next is some of the major researches here. For example, we have the Metri and the Bharti which are established, and these used EPABX system, and that helps in providing seamless phone connectivity between the National Center for Antarctic Ocean Research and the Antarctic stations. Then we have the SETCOM facility at Metri station, and this is in collaboration with the Space Center Ahmedabad and the Electronics Cooperation. It helps in providing uninterrupted broadband connectivity between the station there and our center here. Then we have Bharti Times, which has been developed for understanding any technical issues related to life support system which is required at the station. Now, understand that there have been several expeditions. Edmondson was the first to mark the South Pole, and to commemorate the Edmondson's historical expedition to South Pole, to mark the 30 years of India's presence in Antarctic, the first scientific expedition to South Pole was taken from Indian station, which was Metri, in 2010. The idea was to understand deeper into the Antarctic, do the major understanding of the mountain chain of Droning Mold Land. So the name is Droning Mold Land. With this project, which was released from the Metri station in 2010, further studies were done. Arctic trucks, which are the customized versions of the Toyota Hilux vehicle, were used, and 8-member team was sent to collect samples of snow and ice, and they returned back with various data and information, and this was at a temperature of minus 57 degrees Celsius. Now the next is some of the recent discoveries which have taken there. So 8 new genera, 80 new species of bacteria have been discovered. 32 new species of bacteria have contributed to less than 10% of the new species discovered so far. There have been 2 genes, which are the aspartate aminotransferase gene and tRNA modification GTPase gene, which have been identified that they are important for survival of life at extremely low temperature. 30 species of algae and cyanobacteria have been observed, and then we have nitrogen fixation species of cyanobacteria, which contribute to more than 50% of the total species. Okay, so those are some of the new species which are discovered. 5 species of nematode have been found, 49 species of seabirds, 12 species of marine animals have been identified. We have many metal-tolerant strains, bacterial strains, which have been isolated from the solar saltons at Ribdar in Goa. So in Ribandar in Goa, we have the surface sediments, and where we have identified metal-tolerant bacterial strains which have been identified here. Now, coming on next, some of the studies say that the Dakshin Gangotri Glacier, where we have our research station, has been receding. The snout has been receding, and that recede peaks every 5 years. So every 5 years there is extreme shrinking. So in 1996, nearly 4,000 and 800 square meter of the land has washed away because of the receding glaciers. We have also studied airborne gravity, magnetic anomalies in the region of the Shrichmacher Oasis region here, and we have also understood the deep surface lithology. Then in 1997 at Metri, permanent seismological observatory was established. A GPS was located in the Droning Modland area, and this was to understand the earthquake activity or the seismic activity in the Antarctic station, understand the velocity, the source, the internal deformations, the plate motions, the glacial processes. And in 2013, an observatory was upgraded with the Geotech KS 2000M seismometer and smart 24-hour digitizer. So glacial studies have been done. First generation accurate digital elevation models of the Larsman Hills and the Shrichmacher Oasis have been devised through photogrammetric technologies and inframetric studies. We have also understood the vegetation patterns and three methods of vegetational patterns which have been explained before as well. So I'll just come back to those. So those are spectral index ratio method, ensemble classification, customized normal difference water index for lake extraction features. Now, to summarize about NCPOR, quick recap. This research station is located in Goa. 5 major segments under which research is done: Arctic, Antarctic, Himalayas, IODP, which is Indian Ocean Discovery Program, previously Indian Ocean Drill Program, and then we have the Southern Ocean. Now, in Antarctic, we have Metri and Bharti as the research station. In Arctic, Himadri is the research station. And in Himalayas, it is Himansh, which is the research project. Some of the major researches and the works have been explained in this session. We would be covering many important research laboratories of India in the upcoming lectures to bring in more interest into the topic. Stay tuned. Wish you good luck.